TMNT Universe is meant for adult collectors and Ninja Turtles fans. Welcome to TMNT Universe, I'm Ultramex. 2021 was a weird year for San Diego Comic-Con, but we still got an exclusive, and NECA gave us the Channel 6 news crew. So, let's check it out.
It's the #1 source for Turtles fans, with reviews and news. TMNT Universe.
Well, first she turned into a cat, and then she drank milk from a saucer, and then she jumped out the window, and then she went to some man called Shredder, and then she went to...
Hey, whoa, slow down.
Right, could you, rewind that and play it back at normal speed?
How's it going? I'm pretty sure everyone remembers how weird of a time 2020 and 2021 were when it came to San Diego Comic-Con, with 2020 being canceled and 2021 being downsized into the San Diego Comic-Con Special Edition. And even though it was downsized, NECA managed to partner with Target to get us an exclusive box set. This one has the often overlooked Channel 6 news crew, all themed around the episode The Catwoman from Channel 6. Some of these characters haven't had a figure since the original Playmates line, and to be honest, we're probably lucky they even got figures back then. Like I said, NECA partnered with Target, so they got this into Target stores, but if you pre-ordered it from NECA like I did, you got a few additional items. So, let's take a closer look at those now. And like a Loot Crate box, this set came with a couple of extras like this shirt. Here we have the Turtles and Shredder up on the Channel 6 building. We have a 50-foot Irma, some other characters like Turtle Vern, Tiffany, Slash, Clayton Kellerman, Mutant Cat April. We have Rex 1, Were-Rat Vernon, and Bebop and Rocksteady in their potato costumes. There's a lot going on this shirt. A lot of these characters already have figures, but there's several I hope they get to. And again, just like Loot Crate, we have an enamel pin, this time of the Channel 6 news van. And we have a Iron-On Channel 6 patch for your yellow jumpsuit. And of course, you can't report on the news without the proper credentials, and here is April O'Neil's official press pass. And if you're not a fan of this simple lanyard, you can remove this clip and replace it with one that's a little more fitting. And the last bonus item is this full-size poster of the Channel 6 building that you can either hang on your wall or use it as the backdrop for your own personal Channel 6 diorama. And here we have April O'Neil in the Catwoman from Channel 6, the San Diego Comic-Con exclusive, but not really because this one actually did end up going to Target. Now, because it's so big, I have to film it in this orientation. And on the front we have that Catwoman April, and we also have a little featured section with the figures inside. The side of the box looks like the Channel 6 building, and on the back we have a cross-sell featuring different photos of recreations of scenes from the cartoon. The same Channel 6 look on both sides, and if we take the slipcover off, inside we have the cardboard box with a television with April and Happy Hour News. And I'm actually old enough to remember when TVs had UHF and VHF dials. And here we have a NECA logo that looks kind of like the old Zenith logo to me. And of course, April O'Neil's Chiron here at the bottom. On the back of that box, we have some more photos of the figures, showing a lot of different posing possibilities for these. Other than that, the top and bottom are pretty much blank, but it does have a Velcro flip-down panel that shows the figures in their tray there, but it also has a wood floor so that you could use this as a display once you remove the figures. So speaking of removing figures, let's get to that. And just like with most NECA releases, they give us a insert backdrop, this one of the Channel 6 newsroom.
My best friend is turned into a cat. I don't know whether to call 911 or the animal shelter.
And here is the Catwoman herself. And this figure does have some very thin and spindly arms, but she does have cat claws on the ends of these hands. Her general skin tone is kind of a tannish brown. She does come with this cat head and the control collar from the cartoon. She does have a bendy wire tail, and the figure also has that little tape recorder that's on the other April figure. Pretty much all the parts in this figure are exactly or very similar to the original April O'Neil release. There are obviously some differences, but they're pretty much the same. The upper torso, I think, is a little bit different, and obviously the head is very different, more proportionate than the original April release. But it's kind of hard to tell, so maybe just that smaller head is throwing off an optical illusion of some kind. The Ultimate April release has quite a few differences from this, but I did not have it at the time of this recording. But this Catwoman is amazing, and I'm really glad that we have this alternate version. Now there's a couple of other mutations that April went through that I would like to see, but let's not get ahead of ourselves. So this is an amazing figure, but she also has some cool accessories, so let's take a closer look at those. First up, we can't have Cat April without the cat. This minifigure has a ball socket head articulation, and the tail is just a simple rotation. This cat is specifically from the episode, but it did show up a couple of times, if I'm not mistaken, throughout the cartoon. So you can just use this as an alley cat for your display, or if you want to expand the cartoon universe, maybe in the cartoon world, Michelangelo gets Clunk, or a pre-mutated ice cream kitty. And on the smaller side of accessories, we have a wind-up toy mouse that Michelangelo uses to distract a tiger to keep them all from being eaten alive. But I guess the real question is, why was Michelangelo carrying around a cat toy? And one of my favorites, we have the big boss himself, Byrne Thompson. For me, the Channel 6 news crew is always a big part of the show and a big part of the history of Ninja Turtles, and outside of the original line, which did the Toon figures, it took a while to get to. Most of the time, these characters are overlooked. He comes with a typical yelling portrait. I can imagine him yelling at April, Irma, or Vernon. And for such a small figure, he has quite a bit of articulation, some I'm not sure he even really needs, like this ball joint waist swivel. He also has a lot of unique parts, so I'm sure that these are going to get reused over and over. And there is a little bit of paint chipping on the joint there. I wish they wouldn't paint the joints, but it's a NECA figure, and that seems to be how things are going to go. I'm pretty pleased with this figure. It's a pretty good representation of Byrne himself, and the articulation is actually pretty good. You know, the head swivel, the elbow joint, the knees, etc. But he's not going to get in any huge action poses, but it's Byrne. What action is he going to really be doing? And with that, let's take a look at his accessories.
We're under attack! It's a sonic death ray!
Byrne's first accessory is a portrait of his on-again, off-again girlfriend, Tiffany. And what's cool about this is instead of using an image from the cartoon, it's an actual ZBrush model that they use for sculpting the figures of Tiffany. Maybe she could get a figure one day? Here's hoping. And if you're feeling up to it and want to create a desk for Byrne, this portrait would fit right on it since it has a little kickstand at the back. And another Tiffany-related accessory is the turtle soup, although this comes in a bowl and not a cup like it did in the cartoon. Either way, this is awesome. And since he loves to yell at people over the phone, we have a phone. Although most of his had the different call lines and things, the only thing I found like this is from Four Turtles and a Baby, and it was April's. And weirdly enough, that episode has a lot of accessories from it, including the neutrino set. And this alternate portrait has a pleased, almost smug kind of smile to it. If you don't want to use the angry portrait, you can always switch it out for this one. And obviously we have some hands. These are maybe for holding the phone, or maybe having a little spastic, angry fit. I'm not really sure. But he does come with a pair of standard gripping hands. These have to be for the phone, or at the very least for holding the spoon for the turtle soup. Now this would be our second Vernon figure from NECA Toys. The original release with Rat King had a kind of smile, mischievous smile on his face, but this scared expression is what I think of when I think of Vernon, the coward Vernon. Although he does come with another portrait in his pack that I like a lot, and the fact that I now have two Vernons will allow me to make a display of the Were-Rats from Channel 6. But we'll get into more of that in a little bit. One of his first new accessories is this boom mic with a recorder pack on kind of a shoulder bag. Now, Vernon never really used this in the cartoon, not as far as I can tell, and the only image I've been able to find of it is from the missing map with this boom operator and camera guy. Typically, Vernon is April's camera guy, but we have these nameless crew members for this episode. And they didn't really need to, but the fact that the boom mic itself is articulated and it has this flexible cord makes this an awesome accessory. But something Vernon did use quite a bit is this microphone headset that he had all the way back in the first episode ever in Turtle Tracks. And one of the funnier alternate portraits is this one from the Case of the Hot Kimono, where it's a blindfolded Vernon, where him and April were getting tortured with a feather tickling their bare feet. And for the weirdos out there, no, it did not come with an alternate barefoot accessory. And including these, all the hands that Vernon has are from the original Vernon and Rat King 2-pack.
What's happening? I knew I should have called in sick today. Chief, you're a turtle. Well, have you taken a good look at yourself lately?
And one of my all-time favorite accessories is this demutated Turtle Vernon with a ridiculously tall shell. And you can stand him upside down on it just like he is in the episode Donatello Trashes Slash. And they did a fantastic job at capturing Vernon's likeness in this little accessory, but he's not alone. Because they had to make a burn turtle as well, and I cannot get over how much I love the sculpt of this little guy, and they were very funny in that episode. Of course the figures are great, but it's these random accessories from the cartoon that is where NECA really shines, and it's one of my favorite things about getting into these figures. You never know what accessory is going to pop up, but they're always a lot of fun. And the last member of the news crew is Irma. This is a nice portrait for her scared, kind of worried look, but I wish she came with a couple more. Maybe the falling in love sort of look with Irma, which seemed to be a theme in a lot of episodes of the cartoon. But it's on a nice ball socket joint. She has those small arms and small joints, kind of like the Neutrinos and April, so I'm a little worried to break her. So she is a little delicate, but she has a waist swivel, and the legs underneath this rubbery dress. So there's not a lot of movement you're going to get out of that, but again, it's Irma, she's not an action star. I'm just excited that we have an Irma figure at all, because again, outside of the original Toon Playmates versions, she has not gotten a figure. Now all NECA needs to do is release a quarter scale version so we can have a 50-foot Irma. Just like Tiffany, we have a portrait. This guy I think is only referred to as Hunky Reporter. Someone that Irma is swooning over in the episode The Turtle Terminator. She comes with a pair of open hands. I believe these are the same as April, as well as a semi-gripping hand, maybe for the phone. And something I'm very excited about, which is a were-rat portrait. Just like the one Vernon had, it has an articulated jaw. And also like Vernon, a pair of alternate arms to complete the were-rat look. The Were-Rats from Channel 6 is one of my favorite episodes, and it has one of the best moments with a howling reference involving Vernon. And with the Vernon and Rat King set, and now this one, you can complete your own Were-Rats of Channel 6 and Rat King display. And for some more all-purpose accessories, we have these Channel 6 Newsroom light stands. These pop up on the show from time to time, and they look different every time, but these look most like the ones from Return of the Turtleoid. They do have these cool little plugs and flexible cords, and the head of the light is also articulated so you can tilt it up and down. And another accessory that every newsroom needs and that you see quite a bit throughout the show are these studio cameras. Now again, these were in the show quite a bit, and every time they looked a little bit different. The Turtle cartoon has a problem with consistency of some props. These cameras have a decent amount of articulation, rotating bases, a tilt and pan. I love the details like this little screen here, and it looks like a working studio camera. It's accessories like this that really make me want to build a Channel 6 diorama. It has these same plug-in wires as the light stand, and again, these are very detailed accessories. I just wish I could find the image that they look most like. And that pretty much wraps up the Channel 6 News Crew set, a box of figures that I never thought would actually come out, but I am so grateful that it did. I have always been a fan of side characters, and I would get excited to get any one of these, even the ones that NECA think are a joke. And beyond figures, I would really like them to try to do an updated cartoon-accurate version of the Channel 6 news van. Not sure how likely that is, but it would be pretty fantastic. So until then, this has been Ultramex, Channel 6, Happy Hour News, signing off.
I'm human again. I'm normal. Human, yes. Normal, no, 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 no.
Hey guys, if you liked the video, don't forget to kick that like button, leave a comment, and don't forget to subscribe. I upload every Turtle Tuesday, so you can always come back to see what's new. You can also check me out on various social media, links in the description. And as always, for all things Turtles, check TMNT Universe.